after flying a helicopter into Pittsburgh's training camp, Brown arrived at Oakland's camp via hot air balloon. That should be a warning sign to Gruden. Brown is bringing his hot air circus to Raiders land. But Gruden was so miserable in his last marriage to the ESPN politically correct Monday Night Football gig that he now wants a relationship of danger. He wants to kick it with an uninhibited party girl with a perfect body. AB is a football Instagram model. Gruden is in love unconditionally.
I expect a lot more drama from number 84. I really do. I told Antonio, try not to yell at Derek. Yell at me when you have a problem. Then he started yelling at me. I said, don't yell at me, yell at Olsen. He's the offensive coordinator. He's a fun guy to be around, man. I expected a little bit more than a hot air balloon. I thought he might jump out of an airplane and parachute here himself, but he's going to add a lot of life to this organization at a position where obviously we need some explosive plays.
All right, I've never been married or divorced, but I've made a multitude of bad dating decisions. I've chosen wild over mild and suffered the consequences too many times. It always starts out great. You on the phone with your boys every other weekend. Dog, you won't believe what happened to me this weekend. We went to Rhino. Doesn't take long for the shine to wear off. 2 or 3 months in, you just want to go to bed at a decent hour and make it to work without needing to devour a pot of coffee to start your workday. Jon Gruden is about to live this reality with AB, codename Angel Bambi. Gruden thinks he wants this drama. He thinks he can handle it. He's telling himself, hell, Mike Tomlin handled it for 9 years. I can do 1 or 2 standing on my head. Problem is, Angel Bambi got real money now. He's earned around $70 million and is scheduled to earn another $50 million over the next 3 years. No one can manage this version of AB. I understand Gruden's approach. He's choosing to embrace AB's drama. If Gruden pretends Brown isn't a distraction, it makes it more difficult for the media to push the distraction narrative. And perhaps if Gruden remains unbothered by AB's hey, look at me stunts, AB will be less likely to do them. But eventually, Angel Bambi is going to be a major distraction and an engine of dysfunction. He'll make loving fun for about half the season. Then the reality of losing will set in, and Gruden will desire a wholesome boy-next-door wide receiver. All right, joining the desk now is Fox Sports NFL analyst and another wide receiver.
Yeah!
He's been gone way too long. Greg Jennings, welcome back. Marcellus, I'll start with you. Mistake for Gruden to embrace AB's drama.
Not a mistake at all. It's a smart play right here. If you talk about all this drama, whatever you want to define that as.
Hot air balloon.
Okay. You know what that hot air balloon, or let's go before the helicopter ride and all the other antics came with? Production, brother. I mean, real life production. So it wasn't just a guy who's out here making noise, but there was a signal in there that I'm going to actually set this thing on fire from hello, and I won't stop till I get off this grass. And his work ethic, second to none. His production, second to none. And last year, I think that was an anomaly in terms of his character and what he was facing. Let me be real. In that locker room, AB, before last year, was a guy's like, I qualify to be at tier 1. Ben Roethlisberger obviously qualifies to be at tier 1. And Ben, you start calling me out. Respect, brother. Just respect me and my game. You don't have to call me out. We could talk about this off mic, off radio shows, etc. But Ben went there. And then I think AB took the patient approach for a long time. Y'all gonna check this dude? Because if not, I gotta check him. And then that's where things went awry. All I'm saying is Jon Gruden is smart. Jon Gruden is not a punk. Ask Keyshawn Johnson about how Jon Gruden gets down with these receivers if they get out of line. Send him home. Say, we'll pay you, bye-bye. So Jon Gruden knows he has that in his back pocket, but right now, let's smile. Let's win him over with some honey before we got to show him that vinegar.
Yeah, I'm with you, Marcellus. I think this is a smart decision Jon Gruden is making. You embrace it because, number one, you went out to get it. So if you go get it, that means you know what you're in for. And maybe he doesn't know the totality of what he's in for, but you bring up some interesting points. And I want to touch on his relationship with Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers and how that kind of spiraled. At some point, you get tired of being the quiet one, of allowing things to just kind of go, just go.
AB was quiet.
Yes.
He was.
Yes, when it comes to when you feel like you're on the same level as now your quarterback and your production tells me that, look, my production over my drama any day of the week. You take it, you know what I am, you know what I provide this team, but yet no one's really holding you accountable for the things that you may have said, for the things that you aren't doing behind closed doors. That becomes an issue. And when you do get paid, and you feel like, okay, now I have some more leverage, I have some say, you're gonna start saying the things that other guys aren't saying because you wanna know how it goes in the locker room. The guy with the most money and the guy with the most pull, everybody in the locker room saying, man, you need to say something,
Say
man.
something.
Say something, man.
Yep.
You're the only one that can say something to Ben. You're the only one that can say something to Tomlin, and he'll listen. So that's in his ear. So then he says something, and then it's all on him. Well, he's really being the voice that everybody else doesn't have, but they're living vicariously through his actions and what he's saying. And so I think with Jon Gruden, he's going to be great because he's the biggest antic. He's the biggest showman. It's all about him, and he's going to love the way he works. As long as that production, you hit it, the nail on the head, as long as that production still stays there, I'll take the drama.
So just remember that part of the drama is like AB not showing up on a Saturday before a game, AB being late to everything. And so what Jon Gruden has done, and it's appropriate you're wearing a green jacket, is he's waved a green flag. AB, do AB.
Go.
Whatever you want to do, I'm going to justify it. I'm going to rationalize it. He's set loose, AB, to do whatever he wants, and the rest of those guys are going to follow. Because as y'all know, whether the production backs it up, 60% of that locker room feel, man, I'm just as good as him. All I need is the opportunity.
Who? Where?
60% of the
think they're as good as AB?
Yes.
When?
Given the opportunity.
Well, I'm with you there.
All pro 6 times?
I'm with them there. Guys think that they're better than what they are.
They think they're AB?
Yes.
They might think they're
There's
even
levels
better.
to this, but I'm going to let y'all...
I'm with you. I understand.
What?
But what he's saying is true.
We have confidence, but we ain't stupid.
You're right, but guys think that they're better than what they are
look.
because of the lack of opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
And AB
If
gets
I
those.
was treated that way,
I could do that.
But you know what's weird about this treatment? It is such a short shelf life in terms of how long he was an issue in Pittsburgh. Look, when you say he's being late to the meetings, when you say that AB is missing Saturday, that's when the cat's out the bag. As you said, this dude took the high road for so long. And look, you can own a house on the high road, but you're going to rent that apartment on the low road, right? Every now and then, you got to go down there and remind them, bruh, I'm only doing this because I'm trying to be a team player. And that's what AB got caught up in. He got caught up in finally, you guys are not going to fix this, I'll fix this, and it's going to be a problem.
But Marcel, you know, we all know, the things you get caught for just mask all the things you got away with.
You know it.
so again, they went public with what AB was doing after it was like, man, we've been eating a lot of doo-doo.
Yeah,
That's the bet on the quarterback. All that is look, we got to pick one, we're going to bet on the quarterback. You got to bet on your franchise quarterback over your wide receiver who you can paint in this way.
But I'm saying AB was causing a lot of problems in Pittsburgh that we never heard about. It was tolerated. They were winning. He was so productive. It hadn't turned into a hot mess where he and Ben were at each other's throats. Juju hadn't arrived as a productive player that set him off even more.
Ben wasn't calling him out on the radio show, throwing the ball to D lineman.
No question. but I'm just saying, we know that we've just heard a little tiny tidbit. Again, I go back to my boy Jesse Washington at the Undisputed. They wrote a whole expose on all the crap AB's doing off the field, all the disputes with all kinds of people. That paints a pretty clear picture. This dude is off the chain.
Yeah.
I'm not here to defend Antonio Brown, and neither is that my role in this.
Yep.
But you talk about everything that we heard about Antonio Brown and everything that came out. Think about the things that we've heard about Big Ben, the things that happened in the locker room.
Him,
that we're not, but the things that happened in that locker room that Antonio Brown saw every single day and had to deal with every single day. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the decisions that he decided to make that all of a sudden blew up the relationship between he, Mike Tomlin, and Ben Roethlisberger in that dynamic Big Ben or Triple Bs or whatever they called them.
You're right.
It's because he said, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not doing it anymore. And it's because his production, he felt like, I'm entitled to just say what I want to say.
I qualify.
If you're not going to do it, then somebody has to do it.
There will be a new Big Ben in Oakland, and it may be the head coach. Jon Gruden may be the Big Ben that AB looks over and goes, I don't like some of the stuff you do. Some of the stuff you say is inconsistent. There's a laundry list of former NFL players that say when Jon Gruden's mouth is moving, he's probably not telling the truth. Long list.
Yeah, I've heard.
AB is going to be in that locker room listening to this, and then it may be Jon Gruden that triggers, not Big Ben. It may be Jon Gruden that triggers AB, and I believe it will be because Jon Gruden, again, he's going with this very immature approach. We're going to embrace it. We're going to kill him with kindness and love. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been killing him with kindness and love, and that's how it got so far out of control and out of pocket. AB, this is, I wouldn't say a tough love approach is the right one because I would not challenge AB to a fight, particularly after I just gave him a new contract. But I certainly wouldn't sit up in front of everybody. Man, I can't wait for the drama. The drama's going to be just what this team needs. I thought there would be more. I can't believe he just went with a hot air balloon. When AB starts flying stealth bombers over the practice facilities, and jumping out of them, parachute. You told me you wanted me to parachute to practice. He's capable.
But you know, the thing is, a guy played 9 years, and we never, before last year, would bring up AB in this light. Not fully. We would say, oh, this incident here, this, twerking. Look,
I'm going to send you the article.
No, I read the article, and it took an article to bring all that up because you know what was living on the front page in our minds? Ben Roethlisberger and everybody else's issues hitting you directly. And this is a guy who's been productive since his second year in the league. So don't act like he's not had this confidence. But what was brewing is his qualifications and him getting paid. Like you said, when you get paid in that locker room, oh, you become the ambassador for the voiceless.
Yes.
And all those people who feel powerless, all them other 50 guys in there, hey, bruh, go handle that, man. Go on and set this straight. Balance the equation. And when he did it too much. He went 6th gear instead of measuring it. And also it got off the rails. That said, Jon Gruden has dealt with this type of personality before in Keyshawn Johnson. He has the get out of jail free.
AB.
Yeah, Keyshawn's worse. You're right. Keyshawn is much worse.
And not as productive.
I grew up.
And not as productive.
Exactly. So guess what? It's a way to deal with him.
All right, stick around later in the show. We'll give you our latest approval rating for Jon Gruden. Uncle Jimmy will tell us what he thinks of the Raiders coach. And jump on Twitter right now and give your approval rating for Gruden, and we'll reveal it later in the show. Also coming up, will Ezekiel Elliott's holdout